Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of the Belmont Journal, Belmont's own program for hyperlocal news and community affairs programming. I'm your host, Roger Colton. The town of Belmont is responding to the coronavirus crisis, and one aspect of that response is the school system providing food, both through online or through pickups at the school and through deliveries. We have with us today Dustin O'Brien, who is the director of the Belmont Public Schools Food Service. Uh, Dustin, let's start with what happens on Wednesdays. The Wednesdays are the key day of the week for food deliveries and pickups.
Sure. So on Wednesday of each week, we have access to the high school. And what we do is we get in at 6 a.m. to start prepping for the pickups. So the pickups for families whose students are currently enrolled in free and reduced meal benefits can come by the school between 7:30 and 10:30 a.m. And we have a drive-through service set up. The families do not have to get out of the car. They can drive right up to the tent, stop, open their trunk, verify the students with us, and we will load the meal kits for the week in the back of the car. So there's no one-to-one contact. We're trying to keep as many people safe as possible. The staff that have been working for us building all these meals have not changed. We've kept it to a very core small group. So that is for the meal pickup service.
And you say that if they qualify, people, not just anybody can do this. People have to be qualified to receive school lunch and breakfast?
Correct. So they have to be part of currently enrolled with free and reduced meal benefit status. So we have about 11% of our district that is currently part of that program.
And when you say that you loaded into the automobile, there are a few days. This isn't just a single day of meals that people are picking up. You provide a couple of days of meals, right?
No. So what we found from last week's trial was that families could not come every day to pick up meals for the day. So we evolved this into a weekly meal pickup kit. It's not necessarily all pre-made items. There are some items that you can cook at home. So we thought it made the most sense to have the least impact on the families having to leave the house to just set up a weekly meal pickup.
And while there are weekly pickups, the menus will change from week to week. Can you explain that?
Right. So we're working off our current inventory. If you can think, we were planning for a few weeks of meals before this all started. So what we did was we consolidated all 6 kitchens to one, and then we worked with a local company to make sure that nothing went to waste. We had FoodLink come up and pick up all our perishable items last week. So now what we're doing is we're basically forecasting anywhere from 1 week to 10 weeks out to see what sort of items we could build for week 1 through 10. We're really planning for worst case scenario, but we have a number of local vendors that are willing to help us out. If we need to get deliveries in, we can. So that's currently the status of our operation.
And I interrupted you a minute ago. In addition to having pickups, people can contact you a day ahead in order to obtain home deliveries as well. Am I correct on that?
Right. So what we found with last week was that not everybody could make the pickup. So we started making home deliveries last week. The process going forward is for them to email me directly with the names of the students, the current address, and a phone number that we can contact them with. And we will make those home deliveries in the afternoons on Wednesdays after the meal pickups have concluded. So far this week, we've already heard from about 15 to 20 families. So we're getting those routings set up. But what we'll probably do is for any family that contacts us that they need a home delivery, rather than them emailing us each week, we'll just set them up for a home delivery anyway. And each week they don't have to bother reaching back out to us. They'll know that they'll have a delivery coming the following Wednesday. So,
How many people are being served overall through this?
so the first week was a trial week. We felt a lot of people were ready. Once schools were committed to close, we felt like a lot of families were ready and had enough product to get them through the first week. We've noticed at the start of the second week that families need to take part of this service. So we would say right now it's probably impacting about 30 to 50 families.
And it occurs to me that it's important to point out that while the pickup is at the high school, this isn't directed toward high school students. This is a system-wide food service that you're providing.
Right.
It's system-wide, meaning K through 12.
Correct. So if it's for any currently enrolled Belmont student that has a free and reduced meal plan.
Okay. If there were, one of the things that we've been finding as we talk to public officials is that people are too frequently responding to rumors. Is there anything that you might want to dispel while we're talking to folks?
No,
and if the answer is no, it's no.
No, there's nothing that's come across my desk that is something that we've had to try to dispel. But no, there's nothing in particular with that.
Dustin, to what extent are you relying on community volunteers for this initiative?
We have a number of volunteers that are waiting by. We have about 25. Depending on how many home delivery requests we receive, we might tap into that resource, in which case those volunteers would just come pick them up with their routing already assigned off the high school loading dock, and then they'd go to their schools. The families, there's going to be no one-to-one contact at the house either. It's going to be, here's your time window. We'll probably ring the doorbell and just leave the packages on the front door.
Is there anything else that you might want to inform the community about?
There are some students that are residents of Boston that attend Belmont schools. We wanted to give resources for residents of the city that cannot make it over to Belmont. So if you go to the Boston Public Schools website and go to the link for coronavirus, there is a tab under that for emergency meal sites under free breakfast and lunch. We'd also want to recommend that the Belmont Food Pantry is going to be operating at various hours over the weekend. We just ask that you check their website for the hours that are posted. Also, for notifications that are coming from our food service department directly, those will be coming out not only with parent emails and on the school website at the food service link. We have created a Twitter page to be shared by Facebook and Twitter. That Twitter handle is @BPS_food_for_kids.
And Dustin, if I may interrupt for a minute, do you have a web page or a phone number where people might get good information as well?
So it's the Belmont Public Schools website, and then there is a link for food service. And under food news at the top, you'll see all the updates for the week.
Dustin, the service you're providing is for families who have kids enrolled in the schools. Do you have advice for people who are in need but who don't have kids in the schools?
My main point for families that are in town would be to reach out to the Belmont Food Pantry.
Yeah.
And there are a number of other service providers. FoodLink is one. They often are donating to other branches, so other outlets. Project Bread has sites set up all around. So if there is a family in need that's not part of our free and reduced meal plan, I would ask them to contact me directly, and we could see if we could work out something for them.
Well, thanks for joining us today. We've been speaking with Dustin O'Brien, who is the Director of Food Service for the Belmont Public Schools. You've been watching a special edition of the Belmont Journal. I'm your host, Roger Colton. I will talk to you again next time.